It's time to do our timing kit. This is my homemade piston stopper. The Skid Factory do a really good video on how to find true top dead center. So I'm gonna use this to find top dead center on my 4A GE, and then that's gonna help me just keep everything in the right position while I do the timing kit. We do have these timing marks here, so that dot and that line there, when they line up, that would indicate top dead center. I'm not going to rely on that, I'm just going to double check it. I'll put the piston stopper in and just double check that this is right. So here we've exposed the whole timing belt. Now that there is your tensioner pulley, and that spring in there is what puts the tension on the pulley. Now we can see there's a fair bit of mess in here. So the first thing we want to do is we just want to disassemble all of this. We'll take the spring out, the belt off, the tensioner out, and then the cam gears off, because in our new kit we get some cam seals. There's 3 seals in there, so that's probably a front main as well. We get a new pulley and a new spring. Alright, I obviously mangled the gear trying to get it off, but look at all that rust. Now if you're going to heat it up, you have to replace this seal. Alright, I'm going to try clean that up. I've already ordered a new gear, they're like $30 from SQ Engineering. Now once we've got these off, we can put a shifter on the cam. That'll stop it from spinning while we undo the nut that holds the cam gear on. Alright, picking up where we left off, I've got a new timing belt gear. The other one got absolutely smashed trying to get it off. Now the old one did rust on, so I'm going to just put in some grease, hopefully prevent that from happening. So we got a new timing belt here. Now that just slots over this sleeve down here. We can wind in our bolt just by hand for now. Now if you remember the amount of teeth in between the gears from the other belt, we can set that up, put this in position, and then put the spring in. So I checked the old timing belt, there's 13 teeth in between the 2 indicators on the gears. So now we can put our new spring on the tensioner. Now we can torque down this pulley bolt to 37 Newton meters. Now that that's torqued to spec, we can put our engine mount bracket back on. These get torqued to 79 Newton meters. Don't forget your little plate here first. Before I throw the cam cover back on, I'm going to check the torque on the cam bolts. Those get it done up to 46 Newton meters. Now we can throw this cover back on. Before you chuck the covers back on, just clean up any oil around where the gasket seats. Alright, once you're confident everything's clean, get some black RTV. Now you just want to put this on those sharp right angle corners. I'm just going to do these finger tight for now and let those gaskets settle in a bit, and then I'll come back and check these. Alright, now we're back to the front of the engine. We can put the main crank pulley back on, and then we can put our water pump pulley back on as well. Now the main pulley's back on, we can see the notch in the pulley lines up with the 0. That means the timing is set to 0, which is what we want, because if we come up here, we can see that the indicator on the cam gear lines up with the marking on the back. Same with this one. So we know our engine is timed correctly, and we've got 13 teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in between these two dots, which is what we counted when we took it off. That's how we know we've done it correctly. Alright, the last thing we need to do is torque this down to 118 Newton meters. Now I've never done this before, but I've got the strap through the pulley and the engine mount. Hopefully that'll stop this from spinning while I tighten it. There we go. Kris is here now. He's going to install a distributor for me. So Kris is going to run us through what we need to do.
First thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to find top dead center on cylinder 1. And then what we're going to do there is we're going to line up the distributor with number 1. I don't know if you guys can see that. So number 1's there, runs down to the back of there. It's going to be, I don't know if you can see that one there. And we're just going to make sure that's lined up with that. And usually on some of the big port models, there's a detent, a little spot there, and it corresponds, but this is a small port, it's a little different, but we'll get there anyway. Any O-rings, any rubber O-rings and stuff like this, you're always just going to want to give it a bit of oil. So what we've done is we've figured out number 1 on the timing cap, which is this. It's going to correspond with the mark I just drew here. So it's going to be here. We just turn the rotating thingy.
Rotor.
The rotor, yeah, done. At number 1, and we're just going to put it in. And just because these gears are a bit helical, we're just going to turn it just a bit, because when you install it, it's going to turn itself back. If everything works out, that should be it there. And it's always fine because you've got a bit of adjustability here. So if you don't get it spot on, that's perfectly fine. We'll tune it later with the timing gun.
Just before I start getting into this, there is 2 kind of stages to the timing. There's the base timing, which is what we've just seen, getting the distributor in and the timing kit all set to 0 basically. Now we can check that 0 amount with the timing light, and then this is the next stage, is using the timing light to dial in your timing. We want to set the timing to 10 degrees at idle, at temperature, with the engine in the, I think it's called diagnostic mode or something similar. What you have to do is short 2 of the plugs together using a paper clip on the diagnostic port up here, and then that will set the engine into diagnostic mode, and then we can check our timing. Alright, so this is our diagnostic port. We open it up. So inside we can see coding relating to each pin. Now what we want to bridge is the TE1 and E1 ports. There we go, there's our paper clip. Alright, this is our timing light here. That's going to shoot a pulse of light every time it sees a signal for spark. So you clip this around spark plug wire number 1, you connect it to the battery, and then we can rotate the distributor cap depending on what we see with the timing light. Depends on how much we rotate it and where we leave it. Alright, that's our timing set. So what we're after is 10 degrees. Now, I tried to film, there's a little notch on the crank pulley, which we used to time the engine when we did the timing kit. That notch only illuminates, or the light only illuminates that notch at the precise time that it's in the same spot. When that's happening and you're moving the distributor, you can see that notch, it's the illusion that it's moving left or right. And you can check that against the numbers printed on the timing case. So you can see that notch light up. It should be near 0 depending on how your distributor went in, and then you just twist it. You can hear the engine changing how it's running, and hopefully it runs for the better when you get it closer to the specified timing from Toyota. So you just spin the dizzy, check it with the timing light, and that notch on the crank pulley should line up with the number 10 to the left of the 0. You want your timing advanced, that's to the left, and then that's it. Once your notch is lining up with that 10, tighten the dizzy down, it won't move, and then you can be assured that your timing is right. So a combination of setting the idle right and getting the timing right, you'll get the engine running just how it should be.